came out yesterday for as a good dirty cop search, but this one a couple days old. But anyways, this cop is really heartless and ruthless. Here we go again. Heartless cop who knelt on dying black man in handcuffs gets charged. About time. Ohio cops indicted on felony homicide charges. Good. So glad. Justice finally prevailing. Qualified immunity out the door. Good.
Here we go. Once again, the insane reality of bigotry, racism, and policing. A man literally said he could not breathe. Then a cop is telling him, shut the F up. Here's some of the video.
That's the story right there. I'll be glad to support you. Okay.
I can't breathe.
You're fine.
Yep. Put up the pictures. Full mask. Ohio cops have now been indicted
Scum.
on felony homicide
Right
charges. The dying black man was told.
I love to go up to those cops like that, put my knee on their eyes. They're fucking can't breathe. Oh, can't breathe, sir. Shut the fuck up, you maggot fucking pig. I'd love to do that.
To shut.
I mean, how satisfying would that be if we can actually do that to a police officer?
He was unable to
It'd be
breathe.
hella satisfying.
Frank Tyson, 53 years of age, died in police custody after an officer pressed his knee on the back of his neck
Right
at
there.
a veteran social club in Canton, Ohio. Tyson repeatedly told officers, quote,
Canton, that's where that
"I
infamous derailment
can't
train happened.
breathe," as he was pinned down. Struggling to breathe as a cop placed his knee on his neck. Frank Tyson pleaded with the cop to lift his knee, telling the cop, "I can't breathe," but the Canton police officer refused to believe him. Quote, "You're fine," said the cop. Shut
the fuck up.
But Tyson,
58.
53-year-old black man, was not fine.
He ended up
And
dying
ended
minutes
up
later.
dying minutes after that proclamation. On November 1st, the two Canton police officers, Camden Birch and Bo Shonet, were indicted on reckless homicide charges by a grand jury, which is a third degree that typically results in a sentence between 9 months and 3 years, as well as up to a $10,000 fine. Now, that's a pretty light sentence for a murder. Would you not agree?
And of course, you know what? They'll get
Quote,
probation.
"Now we know who the bad guy is," said the attorney for Tyson's family. Bobby DiCillo, in a press conference Saturday.
Yeah, if Trump had his way, you know what he would probably do? Have the charge dismissed with prejudice.
Quote, "It wasn't Frank." The indictment tells you who to focus on. Both of these cops turned themselves into the Stark County Jail on that Friday and spent the weekend in jail before facing a judge who set their bond at a $25,000 apiece deal. Both men entered a not guilty plea. An autopsy ruled the death a homicide, stating Tyson died of a cardiopulmonary arrest in association with the physical altercation and prone restraint, and that's according to Canton Respiratory. In other words, he died because of what they did to him.
Yeah, because he was prone position.
The homicide determination means another human being did it. All right, it wasn't something that he did to himself. You cannot argue pre-existing condition. And this is typically the argument made when somebody dies while being restrained in such a way, or a cop or a group of police officers refuse to give an individual aid. They would say, well, he had a pre-existing condition. Who doesn't have a pre-existing condition? Who doesn't have something that if it had not been for this individual or these individuals doing the most egregious thing to them, that it may not aggravate a known or unknown pre-existing condition? So the autopsy also indicated other factors that they say contributed to Tyson's death, including acute intoxication by cocaine and alcohol, obesity, cardiovascular disease, which is a condition where the heart muscles do not receive enough blood or oxygen due to narrowed or blocked coronary arteries. Craig M. Riley, president of the local Fraternal Order of Police, said the decision to indict the officers was a political hit job. Quote, some politicians and community leaders have sought to exploit officers as political tools to boost re-election campaigns, Riley wrote in a statement according to Canton Respiratory. Now let's analyze the autopsy. Anytime there's a homicide and an individual is on trial because they have been found liable criminally by a grand jury on some level or another, first degree, second degree, third degree. When does the fact that a person may have been intoxicated or a person may have used drugs before, or that the individual has a heart condition, when does that come into the equation for someone outside of a blue uniform? See, the reality is there are many cases where an individual has died at the hands of another person and they technically had a complication. They technically had another medical issue. But for is the factor. If it had not been but for these cops, that man will be alive. That's it. It's real simple. That's your but for qualifier. All right. So they go down the list of other things. Quote, let's be clear. The tactics undermine the real challenges and complex situations our officers face every day by twisting facts for political gain. They fail to address the true needs of our community and instead seek to vilify those sworn to protect it. The incident
This
took
is
place on April
cosplay. Oh my
18th
God.
after Tyson crashed his car into an electrical pole and walked into a nearby veterans.
Basically, they're just trying to cosplaying like that because people want to smear dirty cops like that. They're like, oh, our police officers have a stressful, hard enough job out there. Makes mistakes that happen. But why can't you, why do you got to smear our police officer? Why can't you just back the blue? That's basically what it comes down to. Oh, our officers are sworn to protect our community. No, they're not. They're not really here to protect our community. They're not here to protect you, me, your neighbor, your grandma, your mama, your papa, your brother, your sister, and your children. They're not here to shit like that. They're out there to antagonize, intimidate, and harass. Like that one cop says, oh, I can go 90 miles an hour. You can't. Oh, we can come behind. We can tailgate you behind you, so that way you buck under the pressure, knowing that we got you. Yeah, that's what they do. They use intimidation factors. That way you hope you give up your rights. And if you sit there and you don't give up your rights, I have rights. Guess what they're going to call you? They're going to call you a frauditor or a sovereign citizen. Oh, you're one of those people. Like, no, I'm one of those people that's woke about, like, I'm not a First Amendment auditor. Or I'm not like that. No, I'm a person that has rights. See, that's the thing. In our states, if you don't even know your rights, you don't have rights. We have our ability of First Amendment right. We had a First Amendment of freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition.
Hall where someone called the police. When Canton police officers entered the establishment, Tyson became paranoid and told the cops, you ain't killing me tonight. As the cops grabbed him to handcuff him, Tyson began struggling, claiming the cops were trying to kill him.
You know what? Is that an uncommon thought? No, because a lot of us, if we were dealing with police officers or we were stopped and detained by a police officer, most of us thinking we're gonna die tonight. This is it. I'm gonna be my widowmaker tonight, because you don't know if they're gonna get. You have no idea. You have no clue. They're gonna go from 0 to 100 in about 3 seconds. And I've seen many videos would do this shit like that. Or you make one wrong move, or if you don't lick their boobs, you don't kiss their ass. Yeah, they're gonna go hands on you and rogue on you. They're not gonna do that on you, putting their knee on your neck, or they're gonna tase the crap out of you, or they'll use deadly force because they're gonna sit there. Oh, I was fearing for my life and safety. Oh, he was putting our safety in jeopardy. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
How many times have we reported on Indisputable somebody making these utterances?
Quite a few. How many videos have I done where people thinking they're going to die by the hands of a police officer? Many
a prediction
videos
of what will happen in the next few minutes, as
Yes.
if somehow they
Yes.
they were aware that these individuals who responded did not care.
Yeah, and how many times has people get the flight, a flight incidents where they take off from a police officer or a couple cops. Yeah, you can go on his Tyre Nichols, but he can't answer it because he's dead. 6 Memphis police, but and they want to treat him like a Mortal Kombat game. Finish him. That's what cops. Some cops act like it's a video game on you, where they just go Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat mode on you, where they get to the point where they got to finish you off one way or another.
About the life of the human being.
Yeah.
Quote.
Yeah. In this day and age, you got a lot of police officers. They don't value other people's life. They don't value. They devalue our life like we're nothing. They think they are our Mark McGuire rookie card. That's what a lot of them are. Our King Griffey Jr. card upper deck, and we're just a 50-cent common card. That's a nobody. They don't value our life. Yeah, just because Daniel Otter, what did he say about Genevieve? Oh, she had limited value. Just write her family a check for $11,000. There you go. And what happened to the officer that hit her with his squad car? Yeah, Kevin Dave, nothing happened. He never got indicted.
They're trying to kill me.
Yes.
Called the sheriff. He repeatedly said as cops struggled to handcuff him. Eventually, the cops had him face down on the floor with one cop's knees on his neck as they tried to handcuff him. And Tyson repeatedly told them, quote, "I can't breathe." Once they had him handcuffed, the cop who had his knee on his neck stands up and tells Tyson that he is fine and to shut the F up. Now, I spoke to a law enforcement officer. He happens to be a high-ranking law enforcement officer, been around a long time. He said that cops actually train when an individual is mid, moderate to high in obesity to never put them in that position. They're trained on this because that position alone can kill them.
It puts them in a prone position.
He said we're trained to look for those signs and to put them either A, on the side of their body, or B, to have them sit down while cuffed. Training. That didn't happen here. 8 minutes later, the cop realizes that Tyson is actually not breathing. He's not breathing. He told you he couldn't breathe.
He couldn't breathe.
And he also realized that Tyson had no pulse, which is when he begins chest compressions and tells the other cop to tell the medics, step it up, since he is no longer feeling a pulse. The killing of Mr. Tyson was only the latest in a long string of incidents involving the Canton Police Department and local black people.
Yeah.
Including a recent incident showing a cop running up and kicking a black man in the face who was already on his knees.
Hands in the air. Remember that.
In the air.
He had hands in the air on his knees.
Terminated a month later.
Terminated a month
in
later.
May, another Canton cop was caught on video allowing his police dog to maul a black man who was simply witnessing cops make a traffic stop, which led to the termination also of that cop. In 2022, Canton police shot and killed another black man who was standing in his own backyard shooting a gun in the air to celebrate New Year's Eve without realizing police were standing on the other side of his fence. That cop was cleared of wrongdoing. Quote, "No one is above the law.
Exactly.
And no one is so far below it that they don't deserve its protections," said Kyle L. Stone, the Stark County prosecuting attorney, during a press conference on Saturday. Now, I can tell you this, it doesn't matter what jurisdiction you are a prosecutor in. It is not popular to prosecute the police. So when the Fraternal Order of Police, when the local chapter president comes out and says, this is just for political gain. No. Even the most liberal jurisdictions, you will have a significant counter political response when you prosecute corrupt cops. You can just ask the prosecutors who are no longer prosecutors. All right, Jackson, hell of a story. Obviously, there's a culture here that is extreme and extreme against black men in particular. What say you?
Well, a few things. First and foremost, I think that it's very important that this show continue to highlight these instances, because whether or not people are tired of seeing this, this is real life. It's impacting real people, and it's built into the foundations of this country. If it wasn't, if this didn't happen so consistently, then you really couldn't say that that's somewhat of the point. That they're keeping people in their place, making sure people know where they sit and where they stand in the hierarchy overall. But I think an important point to bring up as well is that everybody better buckle up and get ready for this type of stuff to ramp up, because Donald Trump just became president again. He just appointed Stephen Miller to be his chief deputy of policy.
Yeah, you know what Trump is going to do as soon as he gets that White House? He's gonna have total immunity. It means it's going to be impossible to have him prosecuted.
Stephen Miller, who's one of the most racist individuals in this country, is now going to be the chief deputy of deciding the policies domestically that this country puts forth. Donald Trump's entire campaign, I mean, the last whole 10 years of us watching him have been practically about nothing but racism. And for some reason, people think that he's joking. For some reason, people think, oh, he's not going to do all that, which would come into question, why would you vote for him anyway? But, people are going to be protesting for good reason what this administration is preparing to do. And the whole point of this, again, is to make sure that people know where they sit in the hierarchy. So we really, really got to ramp it up. We can't let these people dim our spirits. We can't let these people kill the fight in us. That's what they're counting on. But you better believe that this type of stuff is going to ramp up, because it's the entire point of Donald Trump 2.0.
And that's the entire reason why we have people like you and great leaders around the world and viewers that view the program in order to have insight and a blueprint, because we have a strategy as well.
That's another reason why that fellow Fluffy was loving it when Trump went to the White House, because now he knows he's like, oh, because he's hiring racist people like that, and knowing that he said, oh, like when fellow Fluffy said, oh, we need to go back to the good old days. Maybe they said Trump's going to make us go back to the good old days. We're going to have the good old days where it's like the Joan Cleaver days. We got to keep these monkeys in check. We got to get rid of these Jews out of our country. Get these Jews out of our companies like that. Deport these minorities. And man, he said our country's whited by the white people. And that's what they're talking about. It's like a political, like, oh, this is an agenda. Yeah, because the police union, they're like, oh, all these people like hating on the police. Well, why can't people just back to blue? Or like Funny Benchwarmer said, why can't people just back to blue? All cops are good cops. We have the greatest cops in our country. No. I don't think so. And like Sonny Hunter says, what happens to a good cop? Usually a good cop will cause a bad cop. Well, guess what? They get outed on, thrown under the bus, and they have to quit and go to another precinct. All right, I'm out of here, Macho. Peace out.